الله أكبر الله أكبر.
According to worth. So men and women both have the same worth. The more righteous you are, whether you're a man or a woman, the more you're going to be worth in the sight of Allah. It's not like you're going to be like, well, I'm going to be a righteous man, so I'm going to be more worthy of Allah's reward. Because Allah in this ayat, He says, whoever works deeds of righteousness, whether it's a man or a woman, and is a believer. So a righteous deed is a deed that we are either obligated to do or we are recommended to do. Those are deeds of righteousness. And so sometimes they come just straight from the religion, like praying and things like that. And sometimes it comes from customs, like where we're at. So in Islam, we're supposed to enjoy what is right, but in that ayat it says ma'aruf. And ma'aruf means anything that the religion tells you is good, and anything that custom and standard is generally known as being good. So, different cultures might have different things, but in those cultures, people just generally know these things are good. So even if there's not an explicit ayat that says go to the Rainbow Wreck on Saturday and help feed people, it's still good to do it. Because that's what Muslims do in Oakland when they want to do some righteous deeds. They say, let me go feed people at the Rainbow Wreck. So you're not going to find the specific hadiths where the Prophet ﷺ mentioned the Rainbow Wreck. But if you want to work righteous deeds and you live in this area, that's an avenue for you to do it. And it's very simple. And even if you can't, go there physically, you can still give money to Sister Mila so that she can use that money to feed people. And so as Muslims, even no matter what's going on in the world, we know that Allah wants us to work righteous deeds and be believers, meaning we believe in the 6 articles of faith. So we believe in Allah, we believe in the angels, we believe in the books, we believe in the messengers, we believe in the last day, and we believe in Qadr. So we need to work righteous deeds and be believers. And then what does Allah say He's going to do for us if we do that? He says He will cause us to have a good life. And that's what most people want. So people think to get a good life, I just make a lot of money, be able to buy things whenever I need to. So they'll go about all kind of ways to make a lot of money. They'll say, okay, I'll go out and I'll rob, steal, and kill to make a lot of money. And then they get a lot of money and they say, I'm still not happy. What's going on? So, hayatun tayyiba, according to the scholars, means that you'll live a life where your risk is halal. So it might be a little bit, but it's halal. If you have halal income, then you're living a good life. You're living a good life. If you got money and you don't have to worry about being asked about that money on the day of judgment, even if it's a little bit of money. And you talk to ex-criminals who become Muslim, and they'll tell you that haram money doesn't spend right. Blood money don't spend right. Haram, if you get your money from gambling, you can win $100,000 and be broke next week. It don't spend right. You get your money from whatever, you still gonna be like, I got a lot of money, but my problems have dissipated the money. And I'm always scrambling. But you might have somebody who, Imam Bukhari, his father wasn't a rich man. So people came to visit his father on his deathbed. And they asked him, you know, what do you think about you go into the great beyond? You used to be so religious and pious. Now you're about to die. What you think? And Imam Bukhari said, I don't have one dirham that's unlawful. He wasn't a rich man, but he said, I don't have one dirham that's unlawful. So dirham and dinars, that was the money of those days. So he said basically, all of my money is from lawful sources, but I'm not rich, I'm about to die, so I'm leaving my family what I got. So his son, Imam Bukhari, he either was born shortly after the death of his father or shortly before, but he didn't know his father. Imam Bukhari was able to write Sahih al-Bukhari because he inherited his father's wealth and he lived his entire life and never worked. Because even though it was a little bit of money, there was barakah in it. So for us to want to have righteous deeds and believe, that's going to cause us to have a halal or a lawful provision from Allah. And it might be small, it might be big, but it's going to be exactly what we need. It's our conduct that's going to make it happen. So we say, okay, I want to do righteous deeds. And I'm going to believe in Allah. Once you say I'm going to have taqwa, certain things I'm not going to do. Even though it might be an easy way, it might seem like an easy way. I was working at work, and one of my co-workers, he said, man, I'm having these money problems. My mom died, and, you know, I had to pay for the funeral, and now I can't, my phone is off, and my rent is late. He said, I'm going to go to payday advance or something like that. And I said, man, don't never go to that joint. I was like, I know times is tight. Just try to hold out. He said, man, I'm going there when I get off work. He went there. They told him they would give him $2,500. And the fee, they didn't even call it interest. The fee was $1,300. And I said, brother, if you need $2,500, how you ever gonna pay back $1,300 on top of the $2,500? That's crazy. That's crazy. So as Muslims, we're supposed to say, just because you're trying to lend me money with a fee, I ain't even gonna take it. Because that's living a righteous life. And then you're not gonna have that debt hanging over your head. You get them debts, and you can't, you know, you're supposed to pay your debts off before you make the pilgrimage. You got, some people have $50,000 in credit card debt. And I'm not blaming the people because I know times is tight. It's hard. Say, man, my family gotta eat. The landlord looking for his rent. You talking all this religious stuff. I gotta eat, man. The landlord looking for the rent, man. And you telling me don't go to the payday loan person. I can't go to the masjid. The masjid ain't gonna help. But if people actually live righteous lives, the people with money should be helping the people without money. Sometimes people come to me and they say, I want to pay zakat. And they give me thousands of dollars. And I'm like, this person is living a righteous life. This person right here is living a righteous life. It was one brother, I was ready to name the lighthouse. When we bought the building, I said, we need to name it after this brother. Because he's a good brother. He's actually sitting in here right now. I don't want to put nobody on blast. But I was like, this brother is a good brother. Know what I'm saying? Because when they give me that money, and we take it out and start passing out to people, they'll call me up and they'll say, brother, I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. And you came and dropped this money off. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to get food. And you came and dropped this money off. And I'll be like, don't thank me. Because shoot, my zakat is in the hundreds. I would have gave you all the zakat I owe, and you would have still got evicted. But the point that we're trying to make is when Muslims live righteous lives, it takes the pressure off of all of us. When people say, okay, I'm going to give these brothers money because I know that they're going to give it to the people, it takes the pressure off of us when people come ask us for money. Because the worst thing that I could do when somebody asks for money is say, I can't help you. Because everybody's like, wait a minute, man. This is a masjid. One brother came to me, he said, I'm about to get evicted. And we was tough times. Alhamdulillah, it seems like those times getting behind us. But after we bought the building, it was tough. And so his brother came and said, man, I'm about to get evicted. I had to give him the number to Catholic Charities. I said, Catholic Charities will pay your rent if you're going to get evicted, no questions asked. You go to the Muslims, you about to get evicted, you get a Khutbah about responsibility, working hard. Nobody want to hear that, man. If I'm about to get evicted, don't tell me about responsibility. Because we live in a country where if you lose your job, you ain't going to be able to pay rent the next month. Because the rent is at least 1/3 of your income. In the Bay Area, your rent is probably almost 50% of the income. You got to get a roommate. I know people in their 40s and 50s that have roommates because they can't afford to just have a place. Married couples stay married. It's a blessing from Allah because neither one of them can afford to move out. It's like, wait a second. We're going to have to work this out, sis. Because, rent's due next month on the 1st. I know we having problems, but, you get a check and I get a check. We put them checks together and we pay the landlord. And we buy groceries. We might eat out a couple times a week and we just making it. It's not like Muslims don't splurge that much. In general, splurging for Muslims is going to a halal restaurant and getting a burger. That's like the biggest thing we do as Muslims. We're not out partying. We're not out drinking. We're not out, different kind of shoes. If you need shoes, talk to Malik Love. He gonna hook you up. Some for like $40. You don't even have to go down near the expensive mall. You just go see Malik Love. And you'd be like, $40, I'm good. But the point is, as Muslims, we need to start living righteous lives to go with our belief. Because it's easy to say you believe in Allah. You believe in His messengers. You believe in the angels. But if you're not living according to it, it's just like you could say you love your wife, But if you don't ever do nothing for your wife, she gonna be like, you don't love me. Sister say, I love my husband. But all he hears is negativity all the time. He gonna be like, she don't love me. You have to show people. That's what this ayat in particular is saying. Man amila salihan min dhakarin aw untha wa huwa mu'min. Those who work righteous deeds from the men and the women, and they believe, we will cause them to have a good life. We'll cause, you want a good life, live a righteous life. You might not have the best car, but your car will get you to where you got to get. Because it'll have barakah in it. You go down there and you get you one of them Cadillacs, and you put that noose around your neck with that payment, and then you're like, man, this car, it always got problems. And then I go to the mechanic, and then the mechanic charged me some money, and then I still got to make the note. But you say, okay, I remember when all of the Muslims had used cars, like all of the Muslims, y'all remember them days? They all come riding up. You be like, man, this car was nice like 15 years ago. But they was getting around, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's not just interest, it's anything that we have in our lives, we need to try to cut the ties with those things if we know there's masiyah attached to it. And then we'll be living good lives. We might not be, living in the best areas and got the best homes, but we'll be living good lives. And then at the end of those lives, then Allah says He'll reward you. I used to be a teacher. So whenever I used to pass out tests, and then the students would take the test, they were public school students. So they'd be like, Ms. Rashid, can you grade it on the curve? Ms. Rashid, can you grade it on the curve? That was like every test. Can you grade this one on the curve, right? I was like, man, I might have to put yours on the sidewalk. But this is the best curve ever. Because Allah says if you work righteous deeds and you're a believer, He's going to cause you to have a good life, meaning in this world. And then in the next world, He's going to reward you with the best of your deeds. So you might make 1,000,000 Salatul Fajrs in your lifetime. But when you get rewarded, you're going to get rewarded for your best Salatul Fajr. So some Salatul Fajrs, you barely getting out of bed, you make wudu real quick, you pray, and then you jump right back in the bed. But the Salatul Fajrs you're going to get rewarded for is if you went to the masjid. So you got to come to the masjid for this type of reward. So every time you take a step, your bad deeds is erased. And then you get to the masjid and you made that fajr, and then you listened to the hadith and you hung out with the brothers and you built camaraderie, and then on the day of judgment, all of them 1,000,000 fajrs you made will be graded on that best one. It's like if you take a test and you got 10 answers and you only answer one of them right, and then the teacher says, okay, this right one, you got 9 wrong, but I'm going to give you credit for getting all 10 right. Because it's the best. Allah is going to reward us according to the best of our deeds on the day of judgment if we work righteous deeds and believe in Him in this life. So we could take that to the bank because it's in the Quran. And sometimes people will say, well, where did you get that from? You say, well, this is a hadith. They'll be like, I don't know about that. This one right here is in the book of Allah. Allah is telling you this. You ain't got to worry about it. You can take it to the bank that as long as we work righteous deeds whether we're males or females, and we're believers. He's going to cause us to have a good life. A life that's free from all of the stresses. And he's going to, so if you're living and you're saying, well, why do I got all these stresses? You got to start saying, maybe I need to do some more righteous deeds. Maybe I need to put my money where my mouth is, Islamically. So I'm saying I'm a believer. Maybe I need to get out there and do some work. When's the next time y'all got a project at the lighthouse? When's the next time y'all got something going on where I could do, and you don't have to do it at the masjid. You do something good for your neighbor. When I was growing up, I knew everybody in my neighborhood. I knew which grass not to step on. I knew who had dogs in the backyard when we was playing. Don't go in that backyard, you get bit. It's like I knew all my friends' parents and their grandparents if they lived in the neighborhood. You know, we actually, I'm talking about the United States. I ain't grow up in a different country. And I'm not that old. How many of us know our neighbors? And I'm not talking about, I knew people 4 blocks down the street. I knew people in both directions. I knew people all the way to the busy street on one side and the busy street on the other. I knew, and then in high school, I knew them guys too. Usually you cross a busy street, they went to a different elementary school. If you get to high school, everybody goes to the same elementary school. We got to start going to our neighbors as Muslims. Just start out with, hey, how you doing? Is everything okay? It's Eid. I got you a little gift. It's, you know, the people want to celebrate the Prophet's birthday. Bring a gift to your neighbor then. You say you want to bring something to your neighbor because your neighbors, you're going to be questioned on the day of judgment about your neighbors. And we don't even know their names. We don't even know their names half the time. And then something happened, FBI come. First thing the FBI do is ask your neighbors. Some of y'all know from experience. They come knocking on the door with little pictures. You know this guy? Oh yeah, he lives next door. Ain't his name Muhammad or something? They be like, no, his name is, his name is Jerry King. But he tells everybody it's Abdullah. You know what I'm saying? Then they talk. If your neighbors know you, then they ain't gonna, you know, participate in nothing against you. They gonna be like, look, man, he's a good guy, man. You probably need to talk to him. You need to, I don't know what you're saying, but I know he's a good guy. This is a good lady. She takes care of her kids. But if they don't know you, they gonna be like, you know, them Muslims, I always was kind of, you know, I ain't know. So as Muslims, we need to start living righteous lives, and we need to start living them today. And that'll take the stress out of life that we're faced with. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala wa ba'd. So I just wanted to take the second part of the khutbah to thank everybody who got involved in the fundraiser and everybody who participated, everybody who helped spread the word, everybody who's been very generous to the masjid over the years. And just from last Ramadan to this Ramadan, we done got a new facility, and we're not even at Ramadan yet. So all praise is due to Allah. Another thing that we're going to try to start doing, so we're coming up on May. So we have a meeting with some people that started an Islamic school in Richmond, where they have like 70 kids and they come 4 days a week. And so we was actually going to do a Sunday school, but there's a lot of Sunday schools in the area. So they was just like, y'all should just do a 4-day-a-week school and just teach Quran and Islamic studies. 2 hours a day from 5 to 7. Because our kids are going to secular schools for the most part. If they was going to an Islamic school, they'd have about 2 hours a day of Islamic studies. You know, most Islamic schools is not like everything is going to be Islamic, because you still got to learn about just the secular stuff, math and science and English. So we're trying to supplement the students' education at the Lighthouse so that when they grow up, they can say, okay, I did learn tajweed. I did learn fiqh. I did learn, you know, how to make wudu. When kids is just in public school all day, they're not going to get that. And I know because I went to public school. You know, you ain't going to just bust out and make wudu in the bathroom when you like 12 at the public school, because everybody going to be like, what's this dude doing? So you need a space where the kids can actually learn, and we need the parents to be behind it. So if you got children, please, we'll announce, we're going to meet on Monday, and then we'll announce probably next Friday when we're going to start. And we just want people to just come. It'll be a small fee. It won't, you know, it'll probably be something like $30 for one kid, and then we'll probably cap it at 100 or 120. So if you got 4 kids or 5 kids or 6 kids, they could all come for the same 120, because we don't want people to have to break themselves, but we actually want to be able to pay the teachers. So that's why we want a lot of kids, so that at the end of the week, the teachers who've been here with the kids can get a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? It's not for like administrative prices. It's the teachers. We want to have money for them. But if we don't get enough kids, you know, they're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to support the school. So we want everybody to just get involved as much as you can. Bring your kids and let them learn, inshallah ta'ala. Allahumma ihdina fi man hadayt, wa afina fi man afayt, wa tawallana fi man tawallayt, innaka tahdi wa la yubda alayk. Allahumma ansur al-islami wa izzal muslimin, wa thabit aqdam mujahideen fi kulli makan ya Rabbil alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala al-ashraf al-anbiya'i wa mursaleen, Nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Aqima as-salat.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا